Good evening. May I have your attention, please? We've got a good crowd tonight, so we'd like to open with a few administrative remarks. Would say that the fire marshal occupancy load for this room is 60 people. We are in excess of that, so would like to cover if the fire alarm should sound or if the chief of police should call to evacuate. Everybody in the lobby should evacuate immediately, and then those standing against this wall would be the next out. Then we would go from your seats and leave out of the building. With this size of a crowd, we're asking that you keep sidebar conversations to a minimum so that speakers can be heard. And we would ask that all cell phones be silenced at this time as well to not disrupt the meeting. Mayor Nelson.
Good evening, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. First item will be invocation led by Pastor Mike Smith. If you'll please stand.
I want to thank Mayor Nelson for giving us the opportunity to pray. We found out, at least I have in my life, and I bet you have in yours, that when we put God first, He blesses us. So we're going to put Him first in everything we do. He's going to bless the city of Ball Ground and all these council members because of it. Pray with me. Father, I just thank you for the power of prayer. We know, Father, that prayer changes things. I thank you, Father, that you give us opportunities. I ask that you be with us, continue to give us more opportunities. Forgive us for the times we've missed the mark and come up short on things you wanted us to do. And I pray you continue to give us more opportunities where you placed us. Father, I pray for the city of Ball Ground, the ones that were born and raised here, the tremendous life they've had. For the rest of us, we got here as soon as we could. So we thank you, Father, for that blessing that you brought us here. So I pray for all the city, Mayor Nelson, all the council members, all the city employees. I pray for the City of Ball Ground Police Department. And I just pray, God, you bless them, that you would keep them safe in what they do. Give them wisdom and discernment, Father, in everything that they do. And I pray you be with all the families here tonight. I pray, God, you be with them and bless them and their families. And Father, I pray even beyond the City of Ball Ground, I pray for Cherokee County and also for our state of Georgia and the nation. I pray for governors of states, mayors of cities, and managers of counties and cities, that you would be with them. Help them to know, Father, that it's by your sovereignty that they're placed in leadership positions. I pray for our president. I pray, God, you'd give him the strength and wisdom, protection as he serves us. Help him make wise decisions. I pray with his cabinet, the vice president. I pray for the Supreme Court. Give them wisdom and discernment, Father, as they interpret law. Base it on what your word says, Father, as they look at the law. I pray, God, you'd be with the House and Senate, all the members that have integrity in what they do and represent the people that put them there. I pray, Father, for the military, home and abroad. I ask, God, you keep them out of harm's way. Be with their families while they're gone. I pray, God, that you be with law enforcement officers. Protect them while they protect us. And I pray for my brothers in the fire service. I pray you be with them on each and every call they run, the paramedics, the EMTs, and the firefighters. Give them strength and stamina and wisdom on every call they run as they protect property and save lives. So, Father, we turn this over to you this night. I pray, God, you give discernment in everything that's said and done tonight. And I pray, God, that you would be glorified. Help us to always put you first in everything that we do. And we realize, Father, when we do, you're going to bless it. So I ask all these things in the precious name of Jesus, your Son and our Savior. Amen.
Amen. If you'll remain standing, Mr. Randall, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Seated. Okay, we've modified the agenda a little bit so we can take care of some public comments and new business, but before that, we need to adopt the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda, the changes?
Mayor Nelson, I would like to ask that, make a recommendation that item C, consideration of first reading of Evelyn Cox annexation, be tabled. I haven't been able to meet with staff, and I'd like to have some additional time to review this with staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any
Mayor.
discussion?
Mayor Nelson?
Sir.
Would that be items C and D since they are linked?
Yes.
Yes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will table items C and D from the new business agenda. Now, it's my honor to recognize our Veteran of the Month. Look at that skinny gown. I'm proud to announce that tonight Ball Ground's gone international. We've expanded our Veteran of the Month program to include veterans from allied countries as part of our recognition program. America's strength is not just in its own military, but in the alliance of nations that fight alongside it. Allied nations have stood shoulder to shoulder with the United States throughout history, from the world wars to Afghanistan, demonstrating a partnership built on shared security and sacrifice. While leaders like King Charles III emphasized this unity, others have highlighted the blood paid by partners like the United Kingdom and Poland in joint conflicts. Up until we started here, right before the meeting, our Veteran of the Month did not know that he would be receiving this honor. And he's here with his wife, Sheila. Sheila met Tony in 1955, a few days after her 16th birthday and his 18th birthday. His birthday is also this month. They began dating, and after about 9 months in, Tony told her that he couldn't see her anymore, then there was another woman involved. Sheila got very mad at Tony, and she let him know it. Tony then confessed the other woman was the Queen of England. And that he got his call-up papers from the Queen. This is the equivalent of the draft letter from Uncle Sam in the United States. After completing his basic training in the British Royal Air Force in Middle Wallop, Hampshire, he was sent to the Royal Air Force, Hednesford, Birmingham, to train as a fighter plotter. You've probably seen plotters in the old war films. They're the ones that push the models around the table, plotting where the assets are located. Sheila was working in a travel agency, as she still is, and Tony called her to tell her where he had been posted. They always thought that he would be posted close to home, as he had the men for weeks before him. He was hoping to live at home and take the bus to a station every day, but the Royal Air Force had a different plan. She guessed Scotland, no. Germany, no. He then asked her, where is Cyprus? Cyprus is a small island in the eastern Mediterranean that has strong ties to Greece and was a British protectorate in those days. The island was populated by Turkish and Greek Cypriot citizens. Each was fighting for the island to be either Turkish or Greek. Archbishop Macarius was the terrorist leader. In addition, in late 1956, the Suez Canal crisis occurred, which involved the added participation of the French. Tony had been living in a tent his entire time in Cyprus at Cape Greco. There were 100 men in his camp. Living there was tough for Tony and his fellow soldiers. Drinking water had to be brought in every day to survive. The convoy handling that task had been ambushed, and 3 of their men were killed. The very next day, Tony was ordered to do the job. And here he is. Never wanting Sheila to know what happened during that time, Tony kept very quiet, but Sheila already knew all about it because there were enormous headlines in the evening newspaper, as she always bought on her way home from work. After a year, Tony came home on 6 weeks of leave, and they had a great time together. He went back for another 6 months and was finally demobbed. Let me explain what that means, because I didn't know. Demob refers to the demobilization of British servicemen and women after World War II. When millions returned to civilian life, they were issued a demob suit, which was a complete set of civilian clothing, including a tailored suit, raincoat, shirts, shoes, and a hat. That helped him transition back to civilian life. Well, that was the least the Queen of England could do. Tony received 2 medals, the British National Service Medal with an image of Queen Elizabeth II. The medal has an inscription of Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina FD. The reverse bears the words for campaign service under a crown which is surrounded by a wreath of oak leaves. He's wearing his medals tonight too. And the British General Service Medal, 1918 to 1962, with the Cyprus clasp, featuring a winged figure victory on the obverse. It was issued to British Army and Royal Air Force personnel for service during the EOKA insurgency in Cyprus between April 1st, 1955 and April 18th, 1959. Before I present Tony with his proclamation, I want to point out that Tony and Sheila have been married for 66 years. On their 60th anniversary, that lady came back into their lives and wrote a wonderful personal letter, which you see displayed. She even signed it using her first name only, congratulating them on 60 years of marriage. Oh, by the way, his birthday is May the 16th, where he will be a spry 89 years young, and next to Sheila, golfing is his life. And I hear he's a very good golfer. Sheila looks like Queen Elizabeth. Huh? So, Mr. Randall, if you'll meet me out front, I'll read the proclamation. We'll snap a few pictures, and you can either hang out here with the rest of us, or you can leave. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the first Veterans Day proclamation calling on our nation to pay appropriate homage to the veterans of all its wars who have contributed so much to the preservation of this nation. And whereas the United States of America has long stood together with allied nations in defense of freedom, democracy, human dignity, and peace throughout the world. And whereas brave men and women from allied nations have served with honor and distinction besides members of the United States Armed Forces in times of war, conflict, and humanitarian service, strengthening the bonds of friendship and shared sacrifice between our nations. And whereas we recognize with gratitude the courage, dedication, and sacrifice demonstrated by those allied veterans whose service contributed to the preservation of liberty and the protection of democratic values cherished by free people everywhere. And whereas the city of Ball Ground is proud to honor individuals who, through military service and steadfast commitment to duty, have exemplified valor, integrity, and devotion to the cause of freedom. And now, therefore, I, Dennis Nelson, Mayor of the city of Ball Ground, do hereby proclaim Tony Randall as Veteran of the Month for May 2026 and extend our sincere appreciation for his faithful service, sacrifice, and contributions made alongside the United States and its allies in the course of peace and liberty. In witness whereof, hereunto set my hand, cause the seal of the city to be affixed, and we have all the council members signed it too. Thank you. Going for veterans. It's got our veterans memorial on the back. And Sheila, did you come up here and the Queen of England?
And there's just one other thing, if you don't mind, can I say something?
Of course.
Some of you in the room know that Tony and I are Jewish. This month also happens to be Jewish Veterans Month. just by coincidence.
Is there anything you would like to say, Tony? Because Tony will grab the microphone and be here a while.
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much, Mayor,
It's our honor.
and it's great to see so many turned out to be here for this special occasion, and I thank you all.
They're all here for you, Tony.
Don't need to be pushing that. Strong.
Okay, the next item, we moved up, public comments, and I have a list of those who signed up to speak. Our first speaker, Mr. Jimmy Gale.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and neighbors. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm going to read so I get under my 3 minutes and ensure that my message is clear. From my back door, I have watched this town grow. The parking lots fill up, the sidewalks get busier, the energy has shifted. On April 20th, I watched the town parking almost get blocked and the city was less scrambling. Heart sunk, panic set in, people felt helpless, and only one city representative showed up that day. Over the years, I've gotten to know every business owner around me just by being a good neighbor, watching out for their storefronts, listening, asking what they need, sometimes helping out when the power goes out in the rain. I say that not to put myself forward. This is not about me. This is about all of us wanting to build and love a community we can be proud of. I have served on the Variance Committee for 3 years. In 3 years, we have not met once. I don't raise that to point fingers. I raise it because the structure we built to be thoughtful only works if we use them. And I have to be honest with you, the trust in our council is eroding. I'm not alone in that, and I do not say it lightly. But I don't believe any of you ran for this seat to let that happen. I believe you ran because you love this city the same way we do. The same way the families and the shop owners sitting in this room do. So I'm asking, not demanding, asking for 3 things. Open the doors. When a decision shapes our streets, our businesses, our neighborhoods, let us see it being made. Closed meetings should be the rare exception, never the comfortable habit. Plan forward. Before the next project breaks ground, tell us the infrastructure plan, tell us the parking plan. A city that grows without a plan doesn't grow, it strains. Align with each other and with us. Lean in, talk with your business owners, talk with your neighbors. Residents and businesses are not an obstacle to good governance. We're the reason for it. Bring us in early, not after the ink is dry. The city has so much ahead of it. I want the story we tell 10 years from now to be a good one. The one where the council and the people built it together in open and on purpose. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Well, okay, Mr. Caudill. Our next speaker, Dylan Brown.
I'm actually here to say thank you. So, you guys are about to read for the second reading for the open container, and it's something that I have fought for diligently for a couple of years now, and you heard me. So thank you. I appreciate you. It's a big win for not only me, but everybody here. Everybody here. It's a big win. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now to talk about parking. We need a lease. We need parking for our city. We have a lot of people, okay? It's a big deal. We don't need to be behind the 8 ball, okay? We need to be in front of it. We don't need to be held by developers or anybody. The city needs to figure out parking. It's my understanding there's an opportunity to sign a 5-year lease. We should do that. And then in that 5 years, we should figure out how to never have to worry about it again. I would love to volunteer to be a part of a committee. I'm a business owner. My business is in dead center of town. I have some ideas. I don't have all the answers. If I did, wouldn't be doing this. But I think if we had a committee that has business owners, some council members, maybe some citizens, we could come up with something. There's some opportunities, and I think that if we do that, that's great. But right now, today, we need parking. We need a lease, and we need to get that solved. Then we can discuss how we go further and how we solve the problem. That's all I have to say. But thank you. I appreciate y'all listening.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Ryan Turnage.
Good evening. I'm also going to read. As you know, my name is Ryan Turnage. My wife Katie and I own Barrel House Coffee Company, as well as the old Hubbard Building and adjacent courtyard at 275 Gilmer Ferry Road, which is also home to Perched and Barrel House. Parking has been a concern for as long as we've lived here and operated our business. Recently, and to no fault of his own, as you've already heard, Woody Snell, who owns the property directly behind us and beside us, which includes the only parking lot west of the railroad tracks, informed us that he received some information that the city was attempting to do an adverse possession claim on his property. Whether true or not, this led him to react the same way I would as a property owner. He reacted by blocking the property with concrete barricades. We find ourselves in this position where a single man dictates the fate of many long-standing businesses by controlling the parking. Again, it's not his fault. It's this council's responsibility to have a plan or at least approve one. This same parking lot was previously shot down, the one that we're discussing tonight, by some members of this council over a year ago, is my understanding. Despite an exuberant amount of effort from your permanent staff to present possibilities, you have failed to approve any solution. It's easy to say no to an idea, but leaders bring solutions to the table. I'm curious to hear what solutions you all are bringing to the table. Without adequate parking, the businesses die. Without the businesses, the downtown dies. We've all poured ourselves into this community, and to see that attempting to be ripped away due to the lack of a plan by our elected officials is truly eye-opening. Two of you clearly opposed the plan during the working session on May 7th. I've also been informed by a council member that the same two are advocating to dissolve the contract for the parking lot next to Scooped. Is that because you don't think having adequate parking for our growing downtown is in the best interest of the businesses or the city as a whole? When Woody starts construction soon and shuts down his parking lot, what's your plan? He's adding businesses, which is a wonderful thing, but it will significantly increase parking demands to an already overwhelmed downtown. His new lot being public will not solve the current or long-term problem. This decision may determine the future of many of our downtown businesses. If you patronize your small businesses more frequently, as your campaign photos imply that you do, then you would learn more about our concerns and have the necessary data to make informed decisions. Vote yes to approve the Agenda A for the new parking lot lease, and then get to work bringing solutions to the table that will actually have a positive impact on your city. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Charlie Loren, I'm sorry. Lochran.
You almost got it, sir. Almost. Hi, y'all.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi. My husband and I are the owners of Sunshine Life on 205 Gilmer Ferry Road. My husband, Bo, over there. I'm proud to say that next month we will be 5 years in that location. I'm here tonight because of the impending closure of the parking lot behind Barrel House and lack of planning for other parking alternatives, which is creating significant concern and uncertainty for our business as well as many of our neighbors. For small businesses, parking is not a convenience. It is part of the infrastructure that allows us to survive. Customers need reasonable access to shop, pick up items, and visit local businesses. The planned loss of parking threatens to reduce accessibility for not only our customers, but also employees, delivery drivers, older visitors, and people carrying purchases or navigating mobility challenges. What is especially concerning is the lack of a clearly communicated transition plan or sufficient replacement parking before these closures move forward by the developer who purchased the property nearly 2 years ago. Businesses are being asked to absorb the impact first and hope solutions come later. Many of us have invested years into helping keep this area active, attractive, and economically viable. We support local events, pay taxes, employ residents, and help fill storefronts that otherwise may sit vacant. Decisions affecting access to our businesses deserve careful planning and meaningful collaboration with us. We are not opposing progress or development. We are asking for balanced planning that does not unintentionally place small businesses in a position where customers become unsustainable. When parking becomes limited, confusing, or unavailable, customers just simply go elsewhere. It is difficult not to feel overlooked when decisions with major consequences for the business community and the residents in the downtown district proceed without clear mitigation plans or substantial dialogue with those directly affected. We want to be part of the solution. However, right now, the burden of inadequate planning is falling heavily on the small businesses and threatens to put us out of business in the very near future. Development can be phased, construction can be phased, but customer loss and business closures caused by a lack of access are often permanent. I would ask the council to pause, reevaluate the current approach, consider the real economic impact, and work collaboratively with the downtown business community on practical solutions. Growth that outpaces infrastructure risks weakening the very businesses and downtown area that make this city desirable in the first place. Thank you.
Got it. Good timing.
Kimberly Vanderhaar.
Hi.
Hi.
So, well, I'm Kim Vonderhart. I'm actually here on behalf of Ball Ground Hounds. I was there the evening that Jimmy and Ryan were both talking about when there was the risk of losing the parking lot. It'll be detrimental to a lot of the businesses in town to lose that space, but having the possibility of leasing the lot across from and still having customers be able to, I don't know, carry a 40-pound bag of food or have one of us do it. We have a lot of pregnant women and elderly ladies that come in where they're reliant on having close parking and close availability. Parallel spaces in front are nice to be able to have, but we really would appreciate you guys putting on thought and consideration into making sure that we have accessible parking for our customers. That way we can remain. We've been here for 10 years. We'd love to have another 10. So, thank you.
Thank you. David Westrick.
Mayor and Council, thank you very much for talking to us tonight. You've heard from a significant amount of the businesses in our community. And, you know, Mayor, when you and I talked prior to your election, prior to you winning the election, one of the things I've told all of y'all and I've talked to all of y'all about is the need for transparency and the need for communication. And watching this unfold over the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks on Facebook through all the different sources has been pitiful. Truthfully, we have done a pitiful job of communicating to these business people who have businesses who pay a large amount of our property taxes, our sales tax, and it's just, we have not done a good job. And I implore y'all to take this and learn from it. Let's move forward. Dylan just offered to be a part of a committee. I'll be a part of a committee, but I think we've got to have some transparency in what's going on. We all understand that this is, to some degree, we've got to do certain things that can't be 100% transparent. But conversation goes miles. We're not having conversation. I've talked to everyone here almost. We're not having even conversation. So if you have no conversation, all of us know in the absence of conversation, your imagination goes crazy. You know, the city's gonna shut down tomorrow. You know, somebody could say that. And our imagination would let it happen. So I feel like we have definitely failed in this matter, Not necessarily because we don't have a perfect plan, but because we haven't communicated any plan. I appreciate it. I think y'all ought to consider that and think about that for the future. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Harold Corbett.
Honor and a privilege. My name is Harold Corbett. The rest of y'all know me as Dino. That's my name, don't call me that. I really can't add too much to all this except for we are behind the eight ball, as Dylan said. For over a decade, I've been at every downtown business meeting I could make or was available for. And I raised the question a decade ago. What about parking? I was assured, oh, we have more parking than Woodstock does. That wasn't true then, sure not true now. It's a detriment to our business. We get calls all the time. Where can I park? I need a handicap spot. Well, you park down by the railroad tracks and then try to make it up. Well, I can't move. Well, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Or they'll call and make an order. And then they'll say, well, I can't get to your shop. There's no parking. We understand. Sorry. No problem. Something has to be done. We're late. We're way late. If we'd taken action 10 years ago, it would have been 1/10 the cost it's going to cost now. Mr. Snell is not the villain here. Mr. Snell owns the property, and he can do with it as he pleases, in my opinion. The city's dropped the ball. The city's had opportunities. We've spent thousands of dollars trying to lure people into the city without consideration of where they're going to park when they get here. There's nowhere. On a normal Saturday, we have customers that walk from far away because they're dedicated and they love our product, just like the rest of the businesses here. But if you're elderly and you go pick up a 40-pound bag of dog food, you're not going to hump it all the way down to the baseball fields. You're not going to tote it all the way down to the pharmacy. Yeah, there's a lot of parking down there. But for who? For no one. We're behind the ball. Maybe we should reallocate some money in the city to start finding a bigger, better place. I don't know, somewhere that only gets used a couple of times a year that has an amphitheater in it. And, you know, city already owns that. They could just take a bond and maybe build a parking lot there or a parking deck. But that's my 2 cents, and I hope I didn't have a nice speech like these educated folks do. I just tell you what's on my heart, my mind. I love Ball Ground. This is a very unique place in North Georgia. There is no other town like this one. And it shouldn't be Woodstock. It shouldn't be Canton. It shouldn't be any of those places. It should be Ball Ground. This is a very special place. You won't be able to replicate it. It can't be duplicated. And once lost, you'll never revive it. Thank you, council. This has been I'm glad nobody took up the bet that $100 y'all wouldn't call me, so I get to get my $100. Thank y'all.
Is it Dr. Jeremy Bruce?
That's an awkward one to follow there. I'm just here for Tony. Hey, Tony. Jeremy Bruce Chiropractic. I'll tell you guys a story. When I was a kid, I used to ride my bicycle on these streets. I'd work at my grandfather's gun shop up on the hill, and he'd give me a quarter or $1, and I'd come down and I'd buy a Hot Wheels car at a little toy store above my office there on Main Street. And then I'd go over and have lunch at Dot's restaurant, and one day at lunch, Dot and I got an opportunity to watch my grandfather and Mr. Oscar Roberts have a fist fight in the middle of town. Back then, you could have a fist fight in town and not get run over by a truck, but other than that. So 2001, I opened my office here in Ball Ground, Georgia. 2007, we opened on Main Street. So we've been in that same location since 2007. It was me, Hethcox Drilling, the Mustard Seed, and Dot. The Mustard Seed left after about 6 months. And Dot, I think maybe a couple years later, she was not able health-wise to run a restaurant, so she bowed out as well. So it was Heathcock and Bruce Chiropractic out in downtown Ball Ground. We didn't have parking problems then. I think I maybe saw 12 patients a day. But now we see about 150 a week that come down to Ball Ground, and they go to the coffee shop and they get my favorite latte. Most of the time they order Dr. Bruce's favorite. They'll get that, so it's pretty neat. They'll go over and get a Derner at the butcher's place, and so it's kind of neat to do. And now they get a taco at the Taco Social, so it's been really, really cool to that. And then they get my favorite hamburger. I think it's Daddy's on Death Row. That's my favorite hamburger. So it's been a privilege to serve in Ball Ground for this amount of time, 25, 26 years. But there's a transition that's coming, and I have patients that aren't really physically able to walk a distance that they are required to walk or may be required to walk. The back parking lot has been a blessing to us. We survived the sidewalk beautification program. Were you here when it happened? Yeah, 2009, 2010. Our office survived because we had a back parking lot to use. 2015, we survived Tom Cruise because we had a back parking lot to use. So my interest today is the transition. It's what do we do in a transition? Things have to progress, things have to improve, things have to develop and build. I get that, I understand. But I'm already at a disadvantage because my patients can't walk that far. So I'm here to say help to the council, to the mayor, help us. I want to be here for another 15 years. Now my wife, she's going to quit in another 5, but she wants to retire early when grandkids come. But I enjoy working. I enjoy Ball Ground. I am Ball Ground. I love Ball Ground. I don't want to go anywhere else. But, I have to do what's best for my patients. I have to do what's best for those 150 folks that trust me to take care of them. My grandfather told me one time, he said, son, Ashley called me Bimbo, and there's only a couple people in this room that knows he called me Bimbo.
Just for clarity, we have hit 3 minutes. Do you want to continue?
Maybe 10 seconds there, 10, 15
10 seconds.
Okay. So he called me Bimbo, but he said, hey, Bimbo, this is what you do if you want to be successful in life. You treat people the way you want to be treated.
That's right.
That's been my ethos. And I think from a business owner to a council to a mayor to the police officers, everybody here, if we could just get behind that ethos, I think everybody would be fine. And I think Ball Ground would be better for it. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Doctor. Before we go into our next item, new business, that wraps up the speakers that signed up. We know there's a parking shortage. There's not a whole lot of pavement out there. The city purchased property right behind us last year for the intention of building a parking lot. Now, I understand that's a little ways from downtown and it causes some issues with walking, but the city would own, the taxpayers and the residents would own that piece of property instead of us leasing all of the time. But we understand, we've been leasing for years. Mr. Snell, who owns the lot, he hasn't closed that lot off. He's not charging the city for that. He's allowing everybody to park there. At some point, I'm sure he will be doing some construction there, and until the renovation is completed, we are going to have a parking crunch. But tonight, hopefully, we're going to resolve a temporary parking issue. It means taking on another lease if the council approves it. But we realize we need it. We're all ears if somebody has some property that they're wanting to sell where you can put a few cars. We know how important that is. So I just wanted to mention that we have worked on that, and we do actually own property now that will be a parking lot, and it could in the future be a parking deck. So let's move into new business. Item number A, what everybody's here waiting for, the elephant in the room. Consider parking lot agreement. Mr. Wilmarth.
This is a lot I think everybody is familiar with. It is the one next to Parlor on Main downtown. It is owned by Starlight Mineral and Mines, which is Janice Prather and Judy Thomas. We did an assessment on this about 18 months ago, I guess, and did the soil corings, and we wouldn't have the same problems in development here as we did with the parking lot next door, that we had to excavate all the old tree stumps and diapers and hangers. That was kind of a little mini landfill there. What we have discussed in what we would outline tonight and ask for authorization for staff and legal counsel to work with the owners on is the area shown here. The blue line, and it's hard to see, but the blue line does outline the entirety of the property that we are looking and proposing to lease. It's 11,936.33 square feet. The green line that parallels the building, if this is approved and accepted by Starlight, would be a concrete curbing that would be installed to protect the building from any incidental vehicle damage, anybody running into the building. The yellow that parallels each other at the back of the lot would be the metal traffic barricade fencing that is removable. And the reason that they are asking for this in our discussion so far is they've issued a notice to proceed for renovations of a portion of that building. They feel that their contractor may need access from time to time back in the locations that they're not ready to lease at this point. They would be willing to entertain that at such time as they obtained a certificate of occupancy once renovations are completed on that building. So this would have a entrance off of Gilmer Ferry. The exit would be onto Mound Street. We anticipate, and this is Eric parking. If this is approved, we would hire a professional parking lot person to lay it out. I know we can get 40 spaces, but just like the community building, when we got a parking lot company in there, they were able to add, I think it was 8 spaces over what we had. So I think a professional company would get another 3 or 4 spaces. But for my calculations, we ran it at 40. The price to develop this, our best quote at the time is $68,500. That would excavate what is there now. It would put in a 6-inch base, top coat it with asphalt, put in that concrete curbing, and make it ready for parking. So if we ran that on a 5-year lease, if they would agree to this, and what they wanted me to specify tonight, until they have a proposed lease agreement in front of them, they're not agreeing to anything. They said we've been, now a couple times they want to see something, and so these are what we are saying we would present to them. 5-year lease, during which time we would make no monthly payments. That's how we recoup from the initial capital investment of the $68,500. The 5 years is a key number to us because that is our threshold on capital investment. So we could use capital dollars to do this, depreciate it over a 5-year period, and be able to use capital funds. That breaks down to a cost, if we only get the 40 spaces, that would be a cost per month of $28.54 per parking space per month. That would equate out to $342.48 on an annual basis for the parking spot. And again, that would be our cost. We would also propose in the lease, because it's how our other leases are set with them, that we would be responsible for the annual taxes. That's why the square footage is so important. As we calculate that, we would take the land value, divide that by the land assessment from the tax assessor, and we'd end up having to pay during that first 5-year period, $1,336 annually, providing nobody raises taxes. But if Board of Education or the county, whatever, went up on taxes, the actual number is $1,536, but we would waive the $200 that would be ball ground tax. So we would forego $200 in revenue. We would have to pay out $1,336. I was asked to look at one additional number, and the only one I could find is on-street parking. And I realize this is not on-street, but it's about as close as we can get. But according to Main Street America, the estimate is that a on-street parking spot adds about $20,000 in revenue annually to a local economy. So we're talking an investment of $348. Arguably, that's a city investment, but the return on investment in the local economy is much higher. Being that this is not on street, I still say we're looking at least half being 10 to 15,000 value to local economy. So what we're asking for this evening is authorization to propose this to Starlight Mineral and Mines in the form of a lease crafted by our legal counsel with these stipulations, and enter that lease if they agree to these terms.
I have a question for you. Do you have an estimated time frame before this can happen?
We have a contractor that could turn pretty quick. We could make, I know it's always a controversial topic, we could have that ready to park in 7 to 10 days without asphalt. The longest part is always waiting on your asphalt crews to get it on schedule and come in and do it. So there would be the ability to turn this loose, make it move pretty quick from the time they agree, giving our folks the notice to proceed. But asphalt, I wouldn't try to predict. There'll be paving on Valley Street next week. We started scheduling that, I don't know, 10, 12 weeks ago. So it's a stretch to get a paver here quick. Yes, ma'am.
That base needs to be put down anyhow, though. Could we not park on the base until the asphalt gets scheduled?
Just helps compact it more.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
So we could move in.
Okay, so we have item A, consider parking lot agreement. Is there a motion?
I'll second a motion.
Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Hopefully we'll have one. Now, I know a lot of folks are here for this reason. We can go through the rest of new business or take a break. If anybody wants to leave, get up and leave. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to. Thank you for coming out. Okay, we'll move to item B, consider IGA for Ball Ground Highway Maintenance Agreement with Cherokee County. Eric, if you want to hit the highlights on that.
Yes, sir. There was a request came to Mayor Nelson, initiated by Commissioner Cagle, asking if the city would be receptive to accepting a maintenance agreement of Ball Ground Highway from the roundabout south to Sharp Mountain Creek. The issue on here is you look down through there, if you see the areas in tan, those are areas that are currently maintained by the city. Then you have an area that's in the county. Then you have an area where the southbound lane is in the county, but the northbound lane is in the city. And then you get south of there and it flips, and they're saying you cannot annex roadways anymore by state law, but you can do agreements. And so seeing if there would be an interest in doing an agreement here where that would all be in the city. You cannot use it for a spoke annexation, but it does clear up from public safety. If there is an accident, you're not worried about which lane is in the city, which lane is in the county. There is one change on this agreement since you saw it last, and that change was that within the next 5 years, the county would agree with their forces or with their contract forces to pave the entirety of the roadway from the roundabout to Sharp Mountain Creek, with the city of Ball Ground paying for asphalt only. So that would be much less than what we would pay now to do just our own portion. We would try to coordinate that with the agreement we're currently doing with Georgia DOT that would pave from the roundabout to city limits of Nelson. So it'd be nice if we could put that all in one group and one contract, but the county is agreeing to within the next 5 years. We also received an intergovernmental agreement yesterday that didn't have time to make it onto this agenda, but that they would still be willing to do a sidewalk project along this corridor, with the county paying for the sidewalk along the parcels that are county property, the city paying along the parcels that are city property. And it's a pretty sweet deal for the city because we've already required developers to put in sidewalks in different areas through there. And if McKinley, if that project, I don't think that property is sold yet, but that was zoned and approved. If they start construction, they have to do it on theirs as well. So the city portion would continue to shrink. But that would be on your work session for June.
And we'll also receive a little bit more money because we're adding to our roadway.
So the broken roadways haven't given us credit on the gas, the fuel tax, the percentage of fuel tax that's available to us. So by adding this, it would increase that by about $5,300 a year. So over a period of years, we'd collect significant money, but it'd only change our check annually by $5,300.
And it will be our hopes to work with Cherokee County and Georgia Power and eventually get some streetlights out there along the sidewalk area. Cherokee County Commissioner Cagle, particular, has been real good about this, and you know, I think it's a good idea. I think most of the council members have had a chance to look at it. It certainly is a good idea from public safety standpoint, because they get out there, they don't know where the wreck is, whether it's in the county, whether it's in the city. This kind of cleans all of that up. So with that, consider IGA for Ball Ground Highway Maintenance Agreement with Cherokee County. Do we have a motion to accept that agreement? We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're good. C and D are tabled. We'll move to item E, consider proposed parks project list and impact fee expenditures. Mr. Wilmarth.
Yes, sir, we went over this in the work session in detail, and I apologize for not updating the slide, but we're no longer at a shortfall on the proposed impact fee expenditures. We have issued building permits since then, so they're, as proposed here, we have all the funds necessary to execute these projects. As you know, we have already issued the notice to proceed for the new lighting on Lions Field. So what we're asking you tonight is the ability to pay for it, not just from gym sale proceeds, but to split that with impact fees, the 38% that we are allowed. We're asking for the same thing with the pickleball conversion. That's a $60,000 project. We're asking to do 37 out of the sale proceeds and 22,829 out of impact fees. The playground expansion, the same. The addition on here would be the pavilion that's not already identified in an MOU. The total cost of the pavilion, and this would go on the existing community building slab at Calvin Farmer East for $148,350. It would be $91,977 out of proceeds from the sale of the city gym, and it would take $56,373 from impact fees. So most of this was outlined in the MOU for the sale of the gymnasium. What we're expressly asking for approval tonight is to expend impact fee dollars.
And this is impact fee dollars that were earmarked for Parks and Recreation, or Recreation and Parks. So what you've done is you've stretched it out and built as more projects.
Stretch it out, and for those not familiar, impact fees are those fees paid on the issuance of all new building permits. So it's not coming out of tax dollars or anything else. We issue every residential unit that's constructed in ball ground pays a $2,000 fee that can only be spent in parks. And so this is using those funds to stretch those dollars.
And with the permits that will be coming forth, we should be able to replenish that pretty well, that impact fee fund.
Yes.
Okay. We have an item on the table, consider proposed parks project list and impact fee expenditures. We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have 2 seconds. And any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it carries. Next, our first reading of sign ordinance. Mr. Rogers. There you are. He's got you down here, so. Or somewhat.
There are no changes since first reading, and no changes since, well, you had a few at the work session. Those have been implemented, some grammatical things and wordage. So unless there's questions.
And those are, the changes are in the copy we have. Has the public been able to look at this yet, or they will be able to after?
Be able to, it'll be online. This is pretty much the same ordinance that's been in place for 20 years. It cleaned up language, made some adjustments, but it makes sure it's properly adopted in accordance with the zoning act so that it is completely enforceable.
And there will be a public hearing held on June 11th at 6 p.m. In regards to this, because this is the first reading. The second reading where this will go into effect will be at that meeting on June 11th.
So if the citizens want to pull up something, is it on the website that they can review this, or will it be after our consideration?
Yes, sir. We normally put these new ordinances after they've been adopted onto the Muni Code. I believe that the slides and stuff are on the website as well, but we can make sure that it's on there.
Prior to the public hearing, though, they can.
They can obtain a copy here at City Hall if they'd like, yes.
Before we fully vote on it. Thank you.
Appreciate all the hard work that went into redesigning that. Okay, so we have on the table first reading the sign ordinance. Is there a motion? Motion to approve, second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first reading is in the books. Next, item G, we have consider first reading of rezoning case number 2026-R-01 Alma Coffee LLC. Mr. Rogers, you're up again.
Yes, sir. No changes since the work session. The applicant's here as well tonight, but there have been no changes to the request for rezone.
Okay. All right, we have on the table, consider first reading of the rezoning case, number 2026-R-01 Alma Coffee LLC. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first reading's in the book. It passes. Brings us to item H, consider first reading of proposed FY 2027 budget. Mr. Wilmarth.
Yes, sir. We've got a significant budget increase this year, thanks in large part mostly due to the residents of Cherokee County adopting a 1 penny T-Splost, which will generate about $881,000 new dollars to the city for transportation projects only. It'll be used for resurfacing, it'll be used for intersection improvements. We've allocated funds in here for the bypass. It's what we will be working with GDOT for repaving the Ball Ground Highway corridor. So that's the biggest change over previous years. We went over this in depth at the work session. There is a public hearing that's already advertised for the budget if it is approved for a first reading. It will also, if approved for first reading, go on the front page of the website, be on there by Tuesday or Wednesday next week, where residents can review it and have any questions prepared for the public hearing.
When will the public hearing be?
Get that? I believe it's right before the work session.
June 4th. June 4th? 7 or 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock? Yeah, 5.
Because the work session's at 6.
Okay, so we have considered first reading of the proposed FY 2027 budget, and this has been posted on our website.
It'll be on there next week. We don't post it until council says this is what we want in a first reading.
Got
And then we post it and have the public hearing prior to adoption.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the first reading?
Motion to approve first reading of the 2027 budget.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first reading's in the book. Next is item I, consider library board appointment. This is to fill the vacancy left by Ms. Stephanie Joyner. And we have a person who would like to take that assignment, Ms. Stacy Hutchinson. I don't know whether she's here tonight or not. She said she wasn't going to be able to make it here tonight. She's highly qualified. All the council members have looked over her background. She's a school teacher here at the Ball Ground Elementary School. This board appointment would be filling the unterm vacancy and starting January of 27, correct? Okay. So we have, I think it's multi-year.
It's multi-year, but Ms. Joyner would have expired on December 31st. So you can appoint her now for the next term, but also for the unexpired vacancy left by Ms. Joyner.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Ms. Hutchinson? Have a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, she's appointed. Will the city be notifying her or in writing or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We do have a few proclamations. We're going to get through some old business. I appreciate the patience of everybody. I see you back there, Mary. I know you. I appreciate you spending all the time here. We're down to item 7, old business. Consider final reading of urban camping ordinance.
No changes since first reading or work session.
Okay. Does anybody have a motion? This is the final reading. We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? We've hashed this out pretty well. It's been a while. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, final reading passes. Item B, consider final reading of the updated wellhead protection ordinance. Mr. Wilmark?
No changes since first reading, and this is based totally on science from the gallons per minute and total quantity of gallons per year that we produce out of the well, and that establishes the boundaries for our protection area.
Okay. All right, we have a final reading on the table for the updated wellhead protection ordinance. Is there
Make
a motion?
to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, final reading. Next, item C, consider final reading of updates to alcohol ordinance. Any changes?
No changes since first reading. The biggest change to the ordinance is the open container. The district remains the same, but if a restaurant is within the hours that it's allowed to pour, then open container is in effect.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve our second reading here of the updated alcohol ordinance.
I have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that takes care of old business. We're down to what would have been at the front of the agenda, proclamations and appearances. Is Robert Crumley still in here? Did he leave? He's here from Senator Dickerson's office. I just wanted to recognize him. Our first proclamation will be Ball Ground Garden Club donation with Mary. Would you like to come up front?
A lot of important business I'm following, but thank you for letting me come here tonight. And I firstly want to thank everybody from the city, the administrators, the council, the Parks and Recreation people. They all helped us and support us all the time with our events, and we had a very successful event in the garden last Saturday. I also want to say that I believe that you hold the same objective that we do when it comes to parks and so forth. We believe in conservation, beautification, and education. And we want to support the city in that, and we'd like to make a donation to the city for the parks improvement or whatever you call it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary and Jimmy. Oh, bring them up. Just stay down here for the proclamations. Okay, next we have proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. That's you. It's our own Kaylin. Kaylin, whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists through the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Dennis Nelson, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, do recognize the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Kevin Bush, and to all professional municipal clerks for the long service they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And in witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on this 14th day of May, 2026. Anybody else want to take a picture, or? We all work with them, we all know them.
Need to get one of those things.
And then y'all can just hang out here, I got one more proclamation after that. I'll already be down there. Here, you go here. Okay, and then our final Law Enforcement Appreciation Week proclamation. And you are, men in blue. Honoring National Police Week, whereas the men and women of law enforcement dedicate their lives to protecting their communities, preserving peace, upholding the rule of law, and safeguarding the rights and freedoms of all citizens. And whereas law enforcement officers serve with courage, integrity, professionalism, and selfless commitment, often placing themselves in harm's way in the performance of their duties. And whereas National Police Week, observed May 10th through the 16th, 2026, provides an opportunity for citizens to recognize and express gratitude for the dedicated service and sacrifices made daily by federal, state, county, and local law enforcement officers. And whereas during this week, we also honor the memory of those officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty and recognize the enduring support provided by their families, friends, and fellow officers. And whereas communities are strengthened through the partnership between law enforcement agencies and the citizens they faithfully serve, working together to promote public safety, justice, and mutual respect. And now therefore, I, Dennis Nelson, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, do hereby proclaim May 10th through the 16th, 2026 as National Police Week, and call upon all citizens to join in honoring the dedicated law enforcement officers who serve and protect our communities with distinction, courage, and unwavering commitment. And when this whereof, I hereunto set my hand, cause the seal of the city to be affixed this 14th day of May,
That young man right there, sir.
Promise you we're getting right at the end here. Item number 9. Approval of the April 9th, 2026 regular council meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look them over? All right. We have a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Mr. City Manager, you're next to the last meeting.
Yes, sir. Just a few announcements, but want to start off with first a correction. I'd like to retract my 7 to 10 days. The contractor tells me I'm a little overzealous, so let's go with 12 to 15. Okay, it's a lot to haul out, so he wants to go home for dinner. Second thing, just did want to also state with Kalen, there is a minimum standard that has to be obtained for municipal clerks in the state of Georgia, but that wasn't anything she was willing to tackle or do, so she has gone far beyond the minimum and will attain the higher levels of certification, and that'll happen this fall. So we're very proud of how diligently she tackled this new role and her willingness to train. For announcements, Valley Street paving is next week, so we appreciate the community's cooperation that we've had the end of the street closed so far this week. We'll be able to keep it open evenings, but we still have some more work happening along Valley Street, replacing storm drains Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. The paving crew is supposed to show up Tuesday and start milling and pave on Wednesday and Thursday. So just bear with us as we get through Valley Street. And also, again, thank you for the T-Splost vote that's allowing us to tackle some of these projects earlier than we would have been able to do. 30th of this month will be Guardians of the Jukebox, so everybody come downtown for a big time and then get ready for the fireworks. Fireworks on the 27th. I retire on the 26th, so I'm saying that's my send-off.
It's a good send-off.
But that's it.
All right. Mr. Caudell, do you have anything before we go to council?
Only that Mr. Frost and I are working with the court to try to get a court date relative to the nuisance issue with the post office, but so we're trying to coordinate that with the court.
Thank you. Councilwoman Homiller, any comments?
I want to thank the citizens for paying attention and being involved and giving us your input. It's been wonderful to see.
Councilwoman Rogers.
Yeah, a few things. First of all, thank you all for coming out this evening. Kayla, congratulations. You're doing a remarkable job. And thank you to Chief G and all of our officers for everything that you do for the city. We truly appreciate it. And I'd I'd also like to recognize David Dean. He passed and got certified with his Class 4 water treatment license, so. Just adds another feather in his cap and what he can do for the water department, so getting those licenses mean a lot, so great job, David.
Thank you, Councilwoman Benefield.
Yes, I would like to thank our downtown businesses for coming out tonight and speaking at our council meeting. I'm glad that we were able to pass the lease on the parking for you all. It is a problem that we all know about and we recognize, and hopefully we'll be able to work through this crunch and we'll be able to have a nice, good, thriving businesses for the downtown and everything good for our city of Martin. Thank you again.
Councilman Stansel.
Yes, thanks for all the attendance this evening, and particularly the downtown businesses, and thanks for all the input that you provided, and thanks to the staff for working through some of these issues. So we recognize that we need downtown parking.
And last but not least, Councilman Barnes.
Like all the others, I thank everybody for coming out, having your voices be heard, reaching out to council and having discussions. Continue that. It's good to hear that and get those viewpoints.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. We appreciate your comments, and we appreciate your turnout, and glad that we were able to get some things resolved here on parking. Last item is adjournment. We just need a motion. Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Oh, rock, paper, scissors, man, you beat me.